Here's a sobering reality that will shock you. 73% of people who start fitness programs quit within the first 6 months. Not because they lack willpower or motivation, but because they're following exercise myths that guarantee failure and frustration. These widespread fitness lies have convinced millions of people that effective exercise requires extreme suffering, endless hours in the gym, and complicated routines that are impossible to maintain long-term. Are you one of the countless people whose fitness progress has been sabotaged by believing myths that actually work against your body's natural ability to get stronger, fitter, and healthier? What's up, guys? The fitness industry has built a multi-billion-dollar empire by perpetuating myths that keep you confused, overwhelmed, and constantly searching for the next miracle workout or training secret. These myths aren't just harmless misconceptions. They're actively preventing you from achieving sustainable fitness results and often lead to injury, burnout, and the belief that you're just not cut out for fitness success. The most dangerous aspect of these fitness myths is that they're often promoted by people with impressive physiques who credit their success to methods that actually had nothing to do with their results. Meanwhile, the real principles that create lasting fitness transformations are overlooked because they seem too simple or don't generate enough excitement to sell products and programs. Here's what makes this situation particularly tragic. Your body is designed to respond incredibly well to the right type of exercise stimulus when applied correctly and consistently. Every human being has the genetic potential to become significantly stronger, fitter, and healthier than they currently are, but widespread fitness myths prevent most people from ever discovering what they're truly capable of achieving. The problem with conventional fitness wisdom is that it's based on what looks impressive, rather than what actually works for long-term success. The fitness industry promotes extreme methods because they create dramatic before and after photos and inspiring transformation stories, but these same methods are unsustainable for most people and often lead to injury or burnout that derails long-term progress. Today I'm exposing the most damaging exercise myths that are sabotaging your fitness progress, revealing the scientific truth behind what actually creates lasting results, uncovering the simple but powerful principles that elite athletes and fitness professionals actually use, and sharing the incredible story of how Jennifer, a 44-year-old working mother, achieved the best fitness of her life by abandoning popular fitness myths and embracing evidence-based training methods that fit her real-world lifestyle. The first and most destructive myth is no pain, no gain. The belief that effective exercise must be painful, exhausting, and leave you completely destroyed to be worthwhile. This myth has convinced people that unless they're suffering during workouts, they're not working hard enough to see results, leading to overtraining, injury, and eventual burnout. The scientific reality is that your body adapts to exercise through progressive overload, gradually increasing demands over time, not through maximum suffering in every workout. Research published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research shows that moderate intensity exercise performed consistently produces superior long-term results compared to sporadic high-intensity sessions that can't be maintained. The no pain, no gain mentality ignores the crucial role of recovery in fitness adaptation. Your body actually gets stronger during rest periods between workouts, not during the workouts themselves. Exercise creates the stimulus for adaptation, but adaptation occurs during recovery. When you constantly push to exhaustion, you prevent proper recovery and actually impede progress. Effective exercise should feel challenging but sustainable. You should finish workouts feeling energized rather than depleted, confident rather than defeated. The goal is to create a positive feedback loop where exercise enhances your life rather than consuming it. The second myth is that you need to exercise for hours every day to see meaningful results. This misconception has kept countless people from starting exercise programs because they believe fitness requires a massive time commitment that they can't maintain with their busy lives. Research consistently shows that relatively modest amounts of exercise can produce dramatic health and fitness improvements. A study in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that just 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week, that's 30 minutes, 5 days a week, can reduce disease risk and improve health markers significantly. For strength building, studies show that full-body workouts performed 2 to 3 times per week for 45 to 60 minutes can produce excellent results for most people. The key is making those sessions count through progressive overload and compound movements rather than trying to exercise every day with lower intensity. Quality trumps quantity in exercise. 3 focused, well-planned workouts per week will produce better results than 7 mediocre sessions. This approach is also much more sustainable for people with careers, families, and other life responsibilities. The third myth is that certain exercises are inherently dangerous and should be avoided by most people. This myth has demonized movements like squats, deadlifts, and overhead pressing, convincing people that these risky exercises will inevitably lead to injury. The truth is that these compound movements are among the most beneficial exercises for building functional strength, improving bone density, and enhancing overall fitness. Research shows that when performed with proper form and appropriate progression, compound movements have lower injury rates than many safer isolation exercises. The real danger comes from avoiding these natural movement patterns, which leads to weakness and dysfunction that actually increases injury risk in daily life. Your body is designed to squat, lift objects from the ground, and reach overhead. Avoiding these movements in the gym doesn't make you safer. It makes you weaker and more vulnerable to injury during normal activities. The key is learning proper form and progressing gradually rather than avoiding beneficial movements entirely. Working with qualified instructors and starting with body weight or light resistance allows you to build strength safely while mastering movement patterns. The fourth myth is that you must constantly change your workouts to confuse your muscles and prevent plateaus. This muscle confusion theory has led people to constantly switch exercises, routines, and training methods, preventing them from ever mastering basic movements or experiencing the power of progressive overload. Scientific research shows that consistency with basic movement patterns combined with progressive overload produces superior results compared to constantly changing routines. A study in the European Journal of Applied Physiology found that subjects following consistent programs for 12 weeks gained significantly more strength than those switching routines every few weeks. Your muscles don't get confused. They adapt to the specific demands you place on them. If you constantly change exercises, you prevent yourself from getting proficient at any movement and can't progressively overload effectively. Mastery comes from repetition and gradual progression, not from novelty. The most effective approach is to focus on fundamental movement patterns and gradually increase difficulty through added weight, increased reps, or enhanced range of motion. Save variety for accessory exercises while maintaining consistency with core movements. The fifth myth is that cardio is essential for fat loss and that strength training is only for building muscle. This artificial separation has led many people to focus exclusively on cardio for weight loss while missing out on the superior body composition benefits of resistance training. Research consistently shows that resistance training is more effective for long-term fat loss because it builds metabolically active muscle tissue that burns calories 24/7. A study in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that resistance training increased metabolic rate for up to 38 hours after exercise, while cardio had minimal post-exercise metabolic impact. Strength training also prevents the muscle loss that typically accompanies weight loss, ensuring that the weight you lose comes from fat rather than valuable muscle tissue. This leads to better body composition and a higher metabolic rate that makes maintaining weight loss much easier. The most effective approach combines resistance training as the foundation with cardio as a supplement for cardiovascular health and additional calorie burn when needed. The sixth myth is that older adults should avoid intense exercise and stick to low-impact activities like walking and water aerobics. This ageist misconception has convinced millions of people that strength and fitness inevitably decline with age, and that intense exercise is dangerous for older adults. Research shows that older adults can make remarkable strength and fitness gains with appropriate training. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology found that people in their 70s and 80s could gain muscle mass and strength at rates similar to much younger individuals when following progressive resistance training programs. The use it or lose it principle applies throughout life. Muscle mass, bone density, and functional capacity can be maintained and even improved well into advanced age through regular strength training. The real danger lies in accepting decline as inevitable and avoiding the exercises that could prevent it. Age-appropriate training means starting conservatively and progressing gradually, but it doesn't mean avoiding challenge entirely. Older adults benefit from the same fundamental movement patterns as younger people, just with modifications for individual limitations and concerns. Let me tell you about Jennifer, a 44-year-old working mother of two who had tried every fitness trend for over a decade without achieving lasting results. She had fallen victim to nearly every fitness myth, spending hours on cardio machines, constantly changing workout routines, avoiding dangerous exercises like squats and deadlifts, and believing that effective workouts had to leave her exhausted and sore. Despite years of effort and significant financial investment in gym memberships, personal trainers, and fitness programs, Jennifer was frustrated with her lack of progress and was ready to accept that fitness just wasn't meant for her. Her energy levels were declining. She felt weak during daily activities, and she was developing aches and pains that she attributed to getting older. When Jennifer came to me, we started by debunking the myths that had been sabotaging her progress. Instead of daily cardio sessions that left her exhausted, we implemented a 3-day strength training program focusing on fundamental movement patterns like squats, deadlifts, and presses. Rather than constantly changing exercises, Jennifer mastered basic movements and progressively increased the challenge over time. Instead of avoiding dangerous exercises, she learned proper form and discovered that compound movements made her feel stronger and more capable in daily life. We eliminated the no pain, no gain mentality and focused on workouts that were challenging but sustainable. Jennifer learned to view exercise as an investment in her long-term health and capability rather than a punishment for eating or a way to exhaust herself. The transformation was remarkable. Within 8 weeks, Jennifer was stronger than she had been in her 20s. She could lift her children easily, carry groceries without strain, and had energy left over after her workouts instead of being depleted by them. After 6 months, she had achieved the lean, strong physique that had eluded her for years while exercising less than she ever had before. Most importantly, Jennifer's new approach was sustainable. She no longer dreaded exercise or viewed it as something she had to force herself to do. Her 3 weekly workouts became a foundation for strength and energy that enhanced every other aspect of her life. Jennifer's success came from embracing evidence-based training principles rather than popular fitness myths. She learned that effective exercise doesn't require suffering, excessive time investment, or constant complexity. Simple, consistent application of fundamental principles produced better results than years of following fitness trends and myths. Here's the framework that transformed Jennifer's fitness and can work for anyone willing to abandon popular myths in favor of proven principles. Focus on fundamental movement patterns like squatting, hinging, pushing, pulling, and carrying rather than complex or exotic exercises. Apply progressive overload by gradually increasing difficulty over time rather than constantly changing routines. Prioritize consistency with moderate intensity rather than sporadic maximum effort sessions. Include adequate recovery time to allow adaptation rather than exercising daily, and measure progress through strength gains and functional improvements rather than just weight loss or appearance changes. The 3-day full-body strength program that gave Jennifer her breakthrough includes compound movements targeting all major muscle groups, progressive overload through added weight or increased reps, adequate rest between sessions for recovery and adaptation, focus on proper form and movement quality, and total workout time of 45 to 60 minutes, including warm-up and cool-down. The mindset shifts that enabled Jennifer's sustainable success include viewing exercise as self-care rather than punishment, focusing on what her body could do rather than how it looked, celebrating strength gains and functional improvements, understanding that rest and recovery are part of the program, and recognizing that consistency with moderate effort beats sporadic, intense effort. The practical strategies that made Jennifer's program sustainable include scheduling workouts like important appointments, preparing gym clothes and equipment in advance, focusing on compound movements that provide maximum benefit for time invested, tracking progress through weights lifted and reps completed rather than just scale weight, and adjusting intensity based on life stress and energy levels. The progression principles that ensured continuous improvement include starting with body weight or light resistance to master movement patterns, adding weight or reps gradually when current workload becomes manageable, focusing on one progression variable at a time to avoid overwhelming the system, and allowing for occasional plateaus and deload periods as part of the natural adaptation process. The common pitfalls to avoid include falling back into more is better thinking during periods of high motivation, comparing progress to others rather than focusing on personal improvement, abandoning the program after missing a few sessions rather than simply resuming, and adding unnecessary complexity when simple approaches are working well. The long-term perspective that sustains motivation includes understanding that fitness is a lifelong journey rather than a temporary project. Focusing on functional improvements that enhance daily life, viewing exercise as an investment in future health and independence, and recognizing that consistent moderate effort over years produces extraordinary results. The age-appropriate modifications that make this approach work for everyone include starting more conservatively for older beginners or those with health concerns, adjusting intensity based on recovery capacity rather than chronological age, focusing on functional movements that support independent living, and working with healthcare providers when necessary to address specific limitations or concerns. The injury prevention strategies that keep you training consistently include proper warm-up and movement preparation before workouts, focusing on form quality over heavy weights, especially when learning new movements, listening to your body and adjusting intensity based on how you feel, and addressing minor aches and pains before they become major problems. The verdict is clear. Popular fitness myths have kept millions of people from discovering their true potential by promoting unsustainable, ineffective, and often dangerous approaches to exercise. The scientific reality is that fitness success comes from consistent application of fundamental principles rather than complex routines, extreme intensity, or constantly changing methods. Jennifer's transformation proves that remarkable fitness improvements are possible at any age when you abandon myths in favor of evidence-based training. Her approach required less time, caused less stress, and produced better results than years of following popular fitness trends and misconceptions. The most empowering aspect of understanding fitness truth is that effective exercise is actually simpler and more sustainable than most people believe. You don't need perfect genetics, unlimited time, or extreme dedication. You need consistency with basic principles that work with your body's natural adaptation mechanisms. If you're ready to abandon fitness myths and discover what you're truly capable of achieving with evidence-based training like Jennifer did, I've created a comprehensive fitness truth blueprint that includes beginner-friendly strength programs, progression guidelines, and myth-busting education that will transform your approach to exercise. It covers everything from program design to proper form to sustainable lifestyle integration. You can find the link in the description below. What fitness myths have you believed that might be holding you back? Have you experienced better results when you simplified your approach rather than making it more complex? Which myth from this video surprised you the most? Drop a comment and let me know your biggest fitness challenge or your experience with different training approaches. And if this video helped you understand the truth about effective exercise, make sure to check out my video on building your first strength training program, where I break down exactly how to get started with evidence-based training that actually works. Thanks for watching, and here's to fitness success based on science rather than myths.